maybe I take the advantage to introduce you, Felicia. Felicia Solomon is working at INSEAD in the Career Development Center on the career development for working professional, and more specifically as actions to support INSEAD alumni who have each career issue, and because they are impacted by the war. So I think it's thanks a lot, Felicia, to join this meeting, which is broader than the community of alumni, but I think we can learn from each other.
It's good to be here anyway. Thank you everyone for having me and for accepting me in the discussion. Definitely I will take some good information and to better support also with the INSEAD as an institution, our alumni. My focus is our alumni, but definitely broader community. If I have something to contribute to, definitely I will do. So thank you very much.
So I can start slowly. So number one, welcome. As Fanny was telling, the meeting will be recorded. But more importantly, I think in all of us, or each of us, in our mind, in our heart, we are very much touched by what is happening on the east side of Europe. You know, maybe some of you know that the INSEAD alumni have decided to be active on the hosting. And we are hosting, we have 2,000 homes across Europe to welcome people impacted by the war, not only alumni, but also friends and people referred by alumni. But we are seeing very quickly that was excellent to do that, but now we enter in the second phase when the people have been settling down a little bit in the country. They are looking for a job. And we are not expert, and that's why 5 years ago, thanks to Annie Khan, I don't know if Fanny is there, we partnership with each one at the time of the crisis with Syria. So I'm very pleased that we can continue to exchange, and this short meeting will be, I'm sure, extremely action-oriented, so that you can leave the meeting with recipes. If you are an employer, how do I make my job opportunities available for people impacted by war? And if I know people looking for a job because they are in this situation, what to do? So I'm convinced that we will be extremely pragmatic and operational. And I'm stopping now. I let the floor to Fanny, but I think don't hesitate at any time to ask questions in the chat room or to take the mic, as we are in a meeting format. Merci to you, Fanny.
Yes, thank you, Claude. So we have many others, and you as well. We have been involved quite a lot with BCG in helping in the current crisis. And given our connection as well with each one, and we'll come back to that, and with Imagine, the foundation imagine.org, we discussed with Claude on creating that space for discussion and for action to and also to give some space for Anna and Theo to talk about their action and how you as employer, or if you know some guests who are looking for a job, they can support and what needs to be done very concretely for that. So Jean-Michel, Caye and Marie Ablo-Ferrero also are there with me, because we also share a long-lasting conviction around people, as some of you may know, and we also do believe that, more generally speaking, and I won't come back to the sadness of the current situation and how much of it impacts all of us, but we also believe that work with possibility to reskill and upskill is a real dignified way to integrate and into a new culture, and it's also, to be very practical, one of the only way to sustain your family and your close ones in the long run. So we have deep conviction that, you know, the action of Anna and Theo and their teams and others who are doing the same are completely admirable, and that they need to be supported and put in the front of the stage so that everybody can contribute and join the coalition that is supporting them already. So without further ado, let me just I'll just have one slide, which is to present our main speakers for today. So we will have a quick round of questions to Anna and Theo. Just very briefly, let me introduce Anna, who was until the end of last month a consultant at BCG, and she has been a co-founder of Imagine Ukraine and Talent Airlift Afghanistan, and she will tell us more about that. Jean-Michel, I give you the mic now to say a few words about yourself and about Theo as well.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I'm Jean-Michel Caye. So I'm a senior partner in the BCG Paris office, and actually I run also the BCG Social Entrepreneur Prize, and every year we are awarding social entrepreneurs, and we give them the support from BCG. And this year we awarded Theo Scubla, who is the co-founder and the CEO of Each One, and Each One is a social entrepreneur company. He founded it in 2015, and he was only 20 years old at the time. So you can imagine how old he is today. So that he's really bright. And with Each One, he has designed a simple training to employment solution, and that enables to reveal talent and to meet company needs. So to provide them with cohorts of employees in specific jobs, and they're working with a very large company, and at least 30 companies today, big ones, big names, IKEA, L'Oreal, LVMH, you name it. And he has, for the moment, helped 2,000 refugees, not only Ukrainian, of course, but I mean refugees as a whole. And the goal that we have with him is to help him scale so that he can, reach the 10,000 people, refugees help in 2 years. So a lot of ambition in a very difficult job, and this is Theo. And I wanted to say that because he's very modest, so we wouldn't say much.
Okay, thank you, Jean-Michel. So as we were discussing, let me ask you a couple of questions. Anna and Theo I propose Anna that you start. So first of all, if you would like to share a little bit of your background and why and what led you there, particularly in this action that you have taken very strongly to support and to engage in helping. I don't want to say let's call people moving around guests because that's what we decided with Claude. And what led you there? And then Anna, I'll give you the mic, and then Theo, if you can take it afterwards, that would be nice.
Morning, thank you for being here and listening. So we are part of, with Imagine Ukraine and Talent Airlift Afghanistan, of a foundation that we call Imagine. Imagine was created in 2015 out of the refugee crisis back then, but our vision and our kind of mission statement, we call it, is a bit broader. And you said before that moving from a country to another country with a job and having a job is something that is dignifying. We definitely share that, but we also have a bigger picture, and that is that 2/3 of all different economic differences between people that you can explain in this world are based on one fact, and that is where you're born. And that is something that we all in our foundation say that is deeply unfair, and something that we want to change, because there's so many people in this world who are really brilliantly educated and who just don't have access to opportunities. And we want to grant that access. And whether you Imagine in general, we provide access for people who are not born in a country like Germany, like France. And so in general, we are helping people who are, for example, born in Egypt and educated somewhere else, or educated in Egypt itself, and give them access to European job markets, to American job markets, and just train them, help them understand how do you write a CV, for example, for a German company or for any other company, train them in how to interview there. That's how we started. I did a lot of research with BCG, for example, on what is the value of migration, what is the value economically, but also for businesses. We do believe that there's an incredibly big value for diversity of birth. And we're now we did at BCG help companies understand how to use that talent. And in that work, all of a sudden last year, this Afghanistan crisis happened. And we said, okay, we're doing all of this theoretical work, let's put it to use and let's become more practical, because it was deeply touching. And I said, I cannot only write about it, we have to do something. And we became very concrete and started building Talent Airlift Afghanistan. What is it very concretely? It's the same as we're doing with Ukraine right now. We're basically matching 3 kind of people. First is, of course, the people who wanted to get out of Afghanistan, who now want to get out of Ukraine and who need a job. With Afghanistan, it was even more concrete than with Ukraine, because there was a group of people who were targeted by the Taliban, and it was people who were educated in the West or who were educated and working with the West with university degrees, and they desperately needed to get out. And if they got out on an asylum status and would be in the EU, they could not participate in society. They would be staying in asylum homes. So we said we have ways to get people out and to have them part of society. So these were our first group. We had a second group that is coaches. Coaches are just people who help refugees or people who want to come here understand what is the job market here, how do you write your CV, how do you understand the entire system. And then we have the third group of people, and that is employers. And we bring all of these groups together. We match them, we match people with jobs, we match the coaches with the fellows, how we call them, or people who seek jobs. That's what we did back in the last summer. That's what we're doing now with Ukrainians. And it is working pretty well. And we always have different challenges. In Afghanistan, it was that all borders are closed. Despite that, we managed to get 15 people into jobs, which is a low number, but it is a massive number if you consider that almost nobody got out. And it's 15 lives that you kind of help to move in a different way. And with these 15 people, there's families involved, there's something involved. And if you ask me why we're doing this, this is the entire motivation. It's incredible that we could do this while we were working at BCG. It's incredible that we can do this now with the support of groups like yours. And we need all of you are probably working in companies. We need your companies to come on board and join us, providing jobs, providing coaches within your firms. So I hand over to you, Theo.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Anna. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Just let me start with also with a little story, which is the one of my grandmother. You know, when I was young, my grandmother, who is Italian, was always telling me that the experience of being an immigrant, of being the daughter of a refugee, was in fact for her a traumatic experience, because all her life she spent all her life thinking that she had not been able to exploit, to use, to develop her potential. And during all my childhood, I was in fact just noticing this frustration. And you know, back in 2015, I met 2 people who just reminded me those discussions with my grandmother, called Omar and Rateb. They had just arrived in France, I mean, 2 weeks ago at the time, from Syria. It was a moment pretty analog at the one we know right now, because it was the Syrian crisis. And I just, in fact, realized, meeting Omar and Rateb, that I'm just facing 2 awesome person, 2 person with an incredible motivation, a willingness to contribute, to get integrated, to work, in fact, just life. And I just realized, in fact, at that moment also, that there were 1.2 million people in France in the same situation. 1.2 million that were either refugees or newcomers, and for whom it's usually 10 years they have to wait before finding a job up to their expectation. And facing those facts, I've seen that in fact the society was split into two groups. Usually, those who absolutely doesn't want to welcome refugees, and this is clear, rejection, and those who want absolutely to help them, those poor people, who share usually a vision that is the one of the cost, of the assistance, of the charge they represent. And for me, in fact, this was none of those two solutions were right to me. And there was a third way that was gathering all the people like me who were deeply convinced that talking about refugees and newcomers, it's talking about an unexpected potential. And that's why we created each one with my associates, Fanny and Maxime. It's why each one it's an impact-driven company, and we give ourselves those two simple missions: to enable refugees find a job up to their expectation on the one hand, and to help companies recruit those talents that will make them stronger in many ways. Stronger because they will access people that are motivated, stronger because the motivation is contagious and their collaborator also will get motivated by the experience, stronger because they will tap into a new unexpected pool of talent, stronger because they will also do something about this file that is usually on the desk of the HR director and that is not connected to the company, inclusion, and make it a performance question. So for all those questions, we thought that it was, of course, almost obvious to link the two and to connect, in fact, refugees and companies. We built a holistic approach. It is a training to employment solution called All-in-One that enables companies to recruit cohorts of 15 people that are at the beginning trained by each one on the targeted needs, trained in soft skills, and then in hard skills, so that the companies can already recruit people that are already operational. We are also able to accompany, train, raise awareness among the collaborators that the company and its efforts to include the newcomers is perfectly meeting the expectation, and people then stay in the company, remain in the company in the long run. And also we are accompanying the company from A to Z, because this process, of course, is not magic. It's an effort. And for us, it's important that it is fluid for the company and very fluent. And as Jean-Michel said, we accompany a bit more than 2,000 people in 5 years. And we are accelerating above all with these issues that we are facing right now and this crisis in Ukraine. Because what we realize is that this crisis is just reminding us that the question we are facing is first not new, and second will continue to be one of the major stake and issue we'll have to face for the next decades. So knowing that, we decided to accelerate and to launch, with the support of the BCG, a coalition that is which name is Each One for Tomorrow, and which objective is to federate the big companies that want to invest sustainably in the recruitment of refugees, and with a particular ambition. This ambition is 10,000 people recruited in 2 years. And when I talk about refugees in this coalition, it's not only Ukraine coalition. Of course, it takes its roots in the Ukraine situation, because it's there is massive awareness that has been raised from this issue. But this concerns all refugees, because it's important for us not to do a hierarchy between the different people that are coming and in France and in Europe. And so this is also a way, and I know this is going to be a question. You can engage as companies, because through this coalition, we are now looking for new members that want also to recruit refugees and be part of those newly engaged companies that are at the same time helping the situation move forward, but also helping themselves, because it's important that the interests be aligned, so that we build sustainable and scalable solutions.
Thank you, Theo. And that's great to hear what you're doing. Anna, one question maybe to you. What kind of talent pools are we talking about? Because you talked about talent pools. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Of course, I think we're talking about very different talent pools. We are targeting a more specific talent pool. We're targeting only people who have some sort of university degree. I think Theo is doing something different, but I leave that to you. And we're having incredibly talented people, and I'm happy that Theo talked about the motivation of people. And we have that motivation, we always see that, and we see very good feedback that we get from the employers. And I'm going to talk about exactly what type of talent pools we have, but the one thing I want to say before is that we have those stories where, for example, Ines, she was actually from Egypt, like I talked before. She studied in Cairo. She's a backend developer. She started here in Berlin with Get Your Guide, and she then moved to Delivery Hero. Get Your Guide called us, said like, hey, she was such a big asset. We lost her. Like, we need new people like Ines. And that is some feedback that we get regularly. Like, people start here, they succeed here, they move on to new companies. And it's not something like companies hire for charity, they hire from good talent pools. And so in our regular work with people that are not refugees, but they come from countries, for example, from the Middle East, we have a lot of talents that have engineering degrees, that have also not only the degrees, but they have work experience for like 5 to 10 years. And they come here with, like, I would say, a very solid experience. Like I said, we have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. We often also have master's degrees. Sometimes we have people with 10 to 15 years of experience. But I would say the standard candidate has a bachelor's degree in either an economics or business field or an engineering degree, and has some work experience at least. That's the people we focus on. We started doing some work with people who don't have a degree. We realized, okay, we don't have any experience, and we just partner up with organizations who have more experience with people who are not skilled in that field. And so with the Ukrainians we work with now, we have a lot of people. For example, last week, we got a job offer for a woman called Anna. She has an international economics degree, studied in Kiev and a little bit in Shanghai. And she got 2 job offers, one from Zalando, one from Senjo, got hired on very good conditions. These are the kind of people we have. And I would say they're very much within the profiles that probably all of you guys have. And it's really, I think it's a great asset that firms tap into. And once the firms sign up with our platform, they realize just how much of an asset those people can be. Yes. Theo, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. I mean, I share most of the info. I mean, most of what you said, in fact, because when we look at our pool of talent, also we find refugees that are super qualified, and they represent 30% of our pool of talent. And 70% of the person that are less qualified, but that are super motivated, and that will be able to help companies also fill their job vacancies that are often very difficult to fill. So this is what is important to say for us is the fact that we work on more than 60 type of jobs today. All sectors, all type of jobs, from low to high qualifications. The only thing that can be different with Anna's solution is first the fact that we work with cohorts. That means whether the person are already on experience and qualified jobs or not experience, we systematically train the persons by group of 15, so that then the company engage and recruits in volume the person identified. And then we work, and we are based mostly on French territory. So up until now, we work on 47 in 47 cities in France. but it's mostly a French solution, at least till 2023, if we want to think about what is immediately actionable. And about our talents, more information. And as Anna said, we noticed that the average experience of work, whether we talk about qualified or not qualified people, is 10 years. So people have, if they don't have qualification as we usually understand them, they have a wonderful experience. And our job is only to translate, update this experience or this motivation in a new context in which they will be operational faster.
Okay, thanks to both of you. Going back to Anna, so as we were saying with Claude, we want the discussion to be very concrete and actionable for participants. If I'm an employer today, what can I do to support you, Anna? And then again, Theo will ask you the same question. Are there some also geographical angles? I was wondering, and what can I do? Concretely, do I write you, Anna? Who do I write and for what?
Yeah, great. So right now we have more firms from Germany, but we focus our solution on entire Europe. We also have firms from the US hiring, and we have people hiring remotely. We do have some first hires that are, the people are in Ukraine still, they're in Western Ukraine where it's fairly safe most of the time. And where firms from the US hired the first people. So it really doesn't matter where you are. We have the most experience with Germany. And I said before that we have people who are, for example, people who were hired in Afghanistan or from the Middle East. And just to kind of secure you, we have agencies who help with the visa, and we have a lot of experience with that. And they do that for free. What can you do concretely? I will post in the chat our website link. You can sign up there as a hiring partner, for example, and you can just come on the website, post free jobs. That is all for free. If you want to do more, we're entirely non-profit, but we do live out of some contributions from firm. And once you kind of want to become a paying hiring partner, you can list more jobs and you can access more profiles. We have the profiles of all of our Ukrainian fellows on our website, and you can access them, look at their, whatever their experience and credentials are. That is all on the website, but if you want to know more, I also paste my email in the chat, and I'm happy to talk about that. Concretely, it was also in the chat. Yes, we are looking for coaches. We are right now have just enough coaches to fill all of our Ukrainian fellows. But if in your firm people are motivated, they don't need too much experience in doing that. The only thing you need to know is kind of how you apply in Europe for a firm. And I think all of the people who are in here or in your firms know that. So happy to share that link as well. And yeah, what does it mean to become a hiring partner? Basically, just post your job board and nothing else. And that's about it. And if you can spread the word, if you know Ukrainian communities, and we're not limited Ukrainians, we would love to have people from Russia who are fleeing their countries. We are very open to people from the entire Middle East or wherever they're from. Please let them know, and we're more than happy to engage with them.
My turn.
Yeah.
So for me, it's gonna be simple. If you're working for a big company, or if you represent a big company, you can directly contact us through my personal email, theo.scubla@each1.co, and I will put it again in the conversation. I think the INSEAD team will also share it with you. Or directly through the Each1 website, each1.co, so that you can join our coalition as of now and be a member of those companies that want to recruit refugees. So that's mainly, in fact, what we can all do together. We are looking for more companies to offer more opportunities to more talent, because we know it. There are more than 1.2 million of talent just in France that are waiting to express their potential. And now we need to remove the glass ceiling that exists currently, and to find companies that dare to engage and face the challenge up to what it means. So we will thank you to join the coalition if you want, and it's going to be, of course, as I was saying, first only for big companies in France, even if we can talk about how we can accompany you during the whole process in Europe in the coming years.
It makes me think of just related to the employer part of the action, I would say. So each one of you, sorry for the reuse, Theo, but you have an anchor, a geographical anchor, right? As we discussed for preparation. How open is it to, let's say, I have someone who's in another geography than France or Germany. Do you have talent still located and anchored in different geographies than those two places? And are employers, from your experience, open to some kind of remote deal in terms of giving them jobs? Is the question clear, or do you want me to reformulate?
Yeah, I can take the
yeah.
maybe answer. What we do at each one is that we ensure that when there is a willingness to recruit in one territory, we can find people in this territory. So first and foremost, that's what we do. We link people in the same territory with opportunities that are in this territory. And that way, we work in 47 cities in France, 37 cities where there are like 47 pool of talents we recruited to answer the opportunities there. So it's pretty broad. If this doesn't work, and if this is not a situation, we can also do remote work solutions. So, for example, in the field of data analysis, we are used to train and recruit people everywhere in France and help them be recruited in a company, for example, that is based in Paris, but they will still be based in 10 or 11 different regions in France. So this is also a possibility, but it just, in the second time that we think about this one.
More concretely, one question. I'm a person, and I'm an employer, or I want to help. I mean, what can I do exactly? Or I am, a refugee. Where should I go? Who wants to start? Maybe Anna.
Well, I think for us, it's in both cases, we have a sign-up form on our website. If you sign up, it's a very quick form. We tell you exactly what happens after. As a refugee, you just sign up with your details and your profile gets uploaded on our website. From that moment on, every employer can see you, and you can search all the employers and look at open job positions, and you get matched with a coach who can tell you like, hey, this is how job search works here, and like, let's start on that process. As an employer, once you signed up, you also get on their platform, your jobs are being posted, and you see all the profiles. So it's a very quick process. It takes you 5 minutes. And from then on, you kind of get emails that tell you more, okay, this is how this works. That's very concrete and straightforward.
Same for us. Just the refugees we find before signing up, usually they come from partner institutions we have. So the Office of Immigration and Integration in France. We have a national partnership, more than 200 partner associations. So people already usually know us through those prescriptors, and they sign up the same way. They fill a formula and then get news by email so that we can directly link them with an opportunity. And for the employers, same. They can directly either write to us through our formula and our website, or write to me or anybody in the team directly, and then they will be accompanied directly by a customer success manager that is dedicated to them, and that will be here present from A to Z, from the moment we just get in touch to the moment you recruit. So there is a dedicated customer success manager by then account in our solution.
I would probably want to put out one thing, because we talked about a lot of the very positive things, and I do genuinely believe that it's amazing to hire people from different cultures, and it's amazing to take in refugees as well. And I do believe they bring wonderful value, not only because of the work they do, but also because they enrich culture. I do believe it's also a challenge. And you talked about trauma in the chat. It's also, people come from different cultures. And that is a challenge. It is going to take your firm to a different kind of working environment, and we have to get used to that. And it's just something, I mean, you all are much more experienced than I am, and you are aware of that. It's just a word of caution. This will be a process, and we have seen it is a process. It's something, you are not left alone with that. And we are partnering up with organizations who do, for example, with refugees who have been through trauma, who do the trauma counseling. And we do start to develop, for example, also cultural workshops or something like that. We don't do this ourselves because we're not experienced in that, but there is other organizations here now, we're in Berlin, who do this kind of thing, who are working on this. And I just don't want to paint only the rosy picture. And I know that most of you are aware of this, but it's just something within this entire great spirit. And I appreciate you all listening to us painting this rosy picture, but just to say, like, hey, when you hire people, maybe take this into account, and maybe it's also a great thing. And I've heard of organizations who said, like, hey, it actually started something with our team that unveiled important stuff. But yeah, take this on the journey if you start hiring. And if you do it with us, we're more than happy to help you refer to organizations if that is of any interest to you.
I think I think it's important to say it, because there is an effort. Of course, then there is a return on investment, but as every investment, at the beginning there is an effort, and this effort needs to be accompanied. And this is why also it's important for us to accompany the collaborators and to help them look at this subject through a different lens that is usually the taboo one that is chosen, so that it's smooth. It can be smooth, very smooth, but it has to be accompanied, and companies just have to be ready to take on the challenge.
We have a lot of interesting questions in the chat. Maybe we should take some time to answer at this stage.
Yeah, so maybe I'll start with the last one. I don't know, Juliana, if you can unmute some of the, because I prefer that you ask your question directly, if that's okay with you. So Eileen has a question. And then we also have a very concrete question from Olesia. Sorry, I'm just going back from the bottom about working with an employer in the Netherlands.
And Mimi for Singapore.
And Mimi for Singapore.
Shall I go?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so yes, I was listening to the process that Anna and Theo explained. So, but the reflection that I had listening to you is, okay, I can sign up and I can put the job descriptions or the vacancies up there. That's no difference. It's on our company website as well. But then how do we match? How do we bridge between the job description and the person? Because that's very really. I think it's a very it's purposeful what is done here. So I'm really willing to do an effort and to make it work for some people. And let's say if we want to set the example of a data analyst, we have training programs to evolve. That's something that we into that job. So that's something that we do with other graduates or with other profiles as well. So, but I wonder how these people, the refugees that you're in contact with, could be matched with these jobs, because it might not be an immediate fit when you read on it on paper, and because of the effort and the purpose, as I say, we are willing to make an effort and bridge. So can you do you have any thoughts on that?
Sure. So for us, it's two things. For the refugees or for the job searchers, it's a little bit easier. Honestly, we work more on that side, and they can search jobs more easily, and we've developed also an app where they can kind of, for example, filter for all data analyst positions. And for them, even if they can go on your website, we kind of bridged a little bit, we narrowed the firms that they can search, because they can of course browse the web and look for all the jobs that they're out there, but we kind of narrowed it, and right now they're only searching the 700 firms we partner with, because they are open to people like them, like people who come from war-torn areas and who signed up already and said, like, we want to work with Ukrainians, and that already limits their search tremendously. And for them, it's much easier. For you, on the other hand, you're right, it's much harder. You can search our profiles, but you have to click through a lot of profiles. That is something we're working on, but you're right, it is a little bit difficult, and I'm just being honest with you here. We're working on for you to kind of see, okay, out of the 1,500 profiles you have right now, these are the 5 profiles that match your description. It's something that will probably be available in the next couple of weeks. It's not yet there. Right now, you have to click through a lot of profiles to find what you're looking for. I will have to get back to you when we can do this a little better, but I don't have an answer. Maybe Theo has a better solution right now.
I mean, for us, the solution starts by just listening very deeply to the employer's needs. You don't have to post your needs on the platform, because because also we work mainly with big groups, that it's important to accompany also the group in collecting the needs, because sometimes the groups can be spread on a lot of territories, and we have to see on what territories, what jobs exactly we can really work. For example, when we do that with IKEA, we saw that it was possible to work for logistics jobs and also management jobs in 4 territories, in the east of France, in the southeast, in Paris, in the north, in Lille. In those territories, we saw that there were like different typology of needs, and we saw that what was the volume of expectation. Then the company engaged, say, okay, I want to recruit 60 people, 30 in Paris, 15 in the east, 15 in the north, and we want to start in the south right now. And then, knowing the needs and after having helped the company frame what actually it's gonna mean for it to work, then we're gonna do the pre-selection of the refugees using first our database, second also asking our partners if more candidates are interested, so that we can first introduce people to the companies, so that the company can pre-select them and position them into a training. And then people are systematically trained during at least 400 hours, first in soft skills. So it's communication in a new corporate context, trainings, language trainings and language reinforcement, because we don't learn a language in 100 hours out of 400 hours, but it's possible then for them to reinforce the technical language they can use then in the jobs. And then hard skill trainings that is systematic also, even if people already have the competencies, because it helps them translate them into a new context. And this whole process, in fact, is a process that helps refugees, but also the employer, build trust and reduce the risk a simple matching could represent. So the importance for us is to replace just an information-based matching and to substitute to it a process-based matching that enables at the same time the refugees, because first we look at the company's needs, but to be rightly exactly and well preselected and then trained corresponding to these needs, and also the company to be accompanied to do so.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for both for the answer. I like the fact that we first have a conversation to understand, you know, what we need. We have a couple of manufacturing sites also in France. It can go from, we have
Yes.
the example data analyst, but it can go to technician or maintenance supervisor or just anything, you know. There's quite a lot. So I hear that, okay, there's an effort done in language and in reorientation. Okay, good.
It's really important here. I really want to stress on this point. It's important this step of framing the collaboration, because in our experience, we usually exchange between 25 and 30 people representing the company before a project can be ready to be launched. So it's a lot of discussions, but it's a lot of ways also to align the person that is the decisionary and the collaborators, recruiters, managers, co-team members that are also, I mean, the operational enablers of the project, and that need to be first engaged in the project to understand how it serves them and their objective, and how everything can be smooth also for them. So it's also important to go from the decisionary step to the operational one, and to align everybody in the company, so that first the needs are checked, so that the operational potential issues are also apprehended, and then so that you can start operationally.
Thank you. So in the interest of time, I just, so a couple of announcements from the chat. So Juliet, you wanted to share that you're doing that for EA. So I'll give you the mic. In terms of the next step, so we wanted that to be a first conversation, right? And maybe some of you knew already about each one and Imagine Ukraine effort. We will share with you the chat and all the reference that will be in there, so that maybe Theo and Anna and Juliet also, maybe for that matter, you can continue to engage in the dialogue. I think, Mimi, you had a lot of questions on, you had several questions on Asia and Singapore, which are important ones. And so we'll make sure that, you know, the connection continue and the discussion continue after the call. Maybe Juliet, you want to share what you're doing?
Yes, thank you so much, Fanny. My name is Juliet. I'm based in Singapore, and I run the same initiative in terms of helping Ukrainians find the jobs together with International Alumni Association. The easiest way we found, so we pretty much, because the level of skills from people who are looking for roles is very different, right? And we get diverse number of requests from the employers, from unskilled workers for the manufacturing facilities up to someone, you know, high level roles with MBA degrees and everything. So what we decided to do, based on the candidates we have and the requests we received, we split it into two parts. One of them, if you want to hire someone from INSEAD specifically, then this is what we do together with Felicia from CDC via iLink, and Felicia is on the call as well. If there is no specific criteria for that, and there is a bulk of roles, then I can help and promote it on my LinkedIn profile within SIAD and the employer's name. So if you need to hire a lot of people and you have difficulties hiring them, of course, we will leave it up to you if you will choose a Ukrainian or you choose another person who applied for the role, because you need to close it, but I can help you promote the roles. And of course, I do it always under the tag that it's INSEAD for Ukraine. We also work with two platforms. One of them is pretty large. It's run by Ukrainians based in Berlin. They're really well integrated in the startup community there. And they provide a lot of data analytics and matching the profiles of the candidates with your job. So the only thing you need to do, and I will share it here in the group chat, The only thing you need to do is just to post the role there, and then you will get the CVs of the candidates. And if you want to discuss any kind of larger partnerships, because they work with companies like Meta, Facebook, and other large employers, it is also possible to do. And I will share my email in case you want to hire Ukrainian people. I speak to a lot of them. I'm also on Anna's platform, Imagine Ukraine. I got 2 coaches from there. I'll be happy to help you do that. Thank you.
Thank you all. Maybe Anna and then Theo, a word of closing beyond the kind of process.
It was really, really great to be here, and thank you for engaging so actively. I'm very happy that so many of you are also starting to reach out, and I'm very happy to email with you, chat with you on however we can engage with all of you. And like Juliette just said, now there's an active Berlin community. I'm sure there's an active Parisian community, Rome community, or whatever. We have many great people in our pool, and I'm happy to connect them to you in whatever way we can. It's really fun to work on this topic, and if I can transport that fun in any way to you, then happy to do. Thank you so much to Claude and Fanny and Jean-Michel for having us. Thank you, Theo. It was good to start to meet you here, and yeah, have a wonderful day from my side.
Yeah, thank you everybody in engaging in this conversation. It was very interesting. And now I just have to say that if you want to join the coalition we launched, you can in France. If you know also people that are HR directors in other companies, if it's not directly you, but other people, you can also put them in touch with us, because it's by using serendipity also that we'll be able to really increase our reach. So I mean, we trust on you, and thank you for being here, and thank you also Anna for this exchange. I was also very pleased to exchange with you and meet you and meet you here. Thank you.
Jean-Michel, closing word.
No, I'm really thrilled that you came all here and that you're engaged. I see a lot of people doing a lot of things that's really, really, really encouraging.
Thank you, everybody, and we'll do as we said.
Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you.